Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, let me share my screen. We were at Panti, right? Panti. We finished till Rummavati, and now today we have to learn Matta, right? We finished in the Vanna Vutti. In the Vanna Vutti, we are at Samavutti Niddesa, the first chapter of Vanna Vutti, and we finished Gayatri Chanda, Unhika Chanda, 6 syllable meters, 7 syllable meters, and then Anuttubha Chanda 8 syllable meters, Brahati Chanda 9 syllable meters, and now we are at 10 syllable meters, which is called as Panti. So we among those meters we finished Suddha Virajita, and the second one Panava, third one Rummavati, and now we are at Matta. So I will give you a chance to ask questions from the previous lecture after finishing Panti. Now we have to go to Matta, right? Nyaya Matta Mabha Saga Yutta. Nyaya Matta Mabha Saga Yutta. That's the Matta meter. Nyaya, it should be known as Matta. Matta is the name of the verse. So it should be known as Matta when, because of which conditions it should be known as Matta. Mabha Saga Yutta. The verse is with ma, bha, sa, ga, magana, bhagana, sagana, and garu. Ma, bha, sa, ga, magana, sagana, and garu. We know simple. So the meaning is given as it should be known that Matta has magana, bhagana, sagana together. However, like the rules are, there should be magana, bhagana, sagana, and then at the end there should be a heavy syllable. So an example is given here from Uttara Vinichchaya. Duttullang yo vadati cha vachang sabbatum he sikharaniyoti vutta dosa vinayana satthe tassitte nang ganana vasena. So let's check only the first line of this verse. Duttullang. Duttullang is magana, right? Duttullang garu garu garu. It's magana. Then there should be bhagana. Yo vad. It's bhagana, right? Then ticha va. Ticha va is sagana. Lahu lahu garu. Chang is garu at the end. So all the 4 lines are same. Mabha saga are repeated. So that's the Matta verse. Is that clear for you? Clear, right? No questions. Okay, then let's go to the next verse of Panti. Champakamala. Champakamala is the next verse. Champakamala che bhamasa go. Champakamala che bhamasa go. Meaning is given as it is Champakamala if there is bhagana, magana, sagana, and heavy syllable. So the name of the verse is Champakamala. Che means if, right? Bhamasa go, if there are bhagana, magana, sagana, and then the heavy syllable. It's called as Champakamala. Bhagana, magana, sagana, and heavy syllable. Champakamala. So there is an example from Madhuratha Vilasini. I forgot to check the rules in the verse. Here, Champaka is the bhagana, right? Bhagana. Mala che is the magana. Bhamasa is the sagana, and go is the heavy syllable at the end. So in this example also, Piti mularang vindati data garava masming gacchati loke kitti manantang yati cha data vissasaniyo hoti cha data. Pitimu is the bhagana. La rang vin is the magana. the ti, da is the sagana, tha is the heavy syllable at the end. So you can check the rest of the lines by yourself. That is Champakamala. So regarding this verse, there is something to explain. That is, this verse is as same as Rummavati verse. Please take a look at the rules. Bhamasago, Bhagana, Magana, and Sagana should be there. Then at the end, there should be a Garu, right? Bhamasaga. So let's go to Rummavati and check it again. Rummavati is this. So here also you see Bhamasagayutta Rummavati sa. Bhagana, Magana, Sagana together with the heavy syllable. So here also the rules are same. First there is some Bhagana, then Magana, then Sagana, and at the end there is a heavy syllable. So everything is same, but it is shown twice. First by the name Rummavati and then by the name Champakamala. So what is the reason for showing that verse twice? As explained in the Tika and in Burmese books, the reason is given as this is shown twice in order to to show that there are two names. There are two such famous names for the verse with those rules, like Bhamasag. The verse with these rules are known as Rummavati in some places and as Champakamala in other places. So these both of these names are used in different texts to show that the same verse is shown twice in the Panti Chanda, Panti verses. So that is the reason given in Tika and Burmese books. However, Bhante Ananda Jyoti here shows another reason. Let's read this with me. The description of this meter in terms of the sequence of light and heavy syllables is the same as Rummavati above. Right? Rules are same as Rummavati above. This has led Siddhartha to state that this must be a mistake. So one author called as Siddhartha states that this is a mistake. But however, the next paragraph, however, it appears that Champakamala, the verse we are learning now, Champakamala is in fact further defined in the Sanskrit Prasadis as having a word break after the fifth syllable. Okay, so some Champakamala is there in Sanskrit Prasadis, and in those places in the Sanskrit Prasadi, this verse is with a word break after the fifth syllable. So Venerable Sorata quotes Kalidasa. You know, Kalidasa is a great poet, right? Kalidasa. So Kalidasa has stated in Sanskrit, Indriyava Nairyatra Virama Sakathaniya Champakamala. So this means Indriya means the Pali word Indriya. So we learned in the beginning that the word Indriya, as I can remember, we learned under Bhuta Sankhya, Indriya denotes the number 5 because there are 5 Indriya, like Chakhundriya, Sotindriya, Ghanindriya, like that. And in our Buddhist texts also, like Saddhindriya, Virindriya, Satindriya, Samadhindriya, Panjindriya. So Indriya stands for number 5. So after Indriya, after the fifth syllable, there should be Virama. Virama means word break. There should be word break. So this is said by Kalidasa. So according to this also, there should be word break in Champakamala. So according to these differences, the difference between Rummavati and Champakamala is that Rummavati doesn't have word breaks, but Champakamala has word breaks. That is the reason That is the difference of those two verses, and that is the reason for mentioning Champakamala again. Like that is the reason for mentioning the same verse twice. Okay. And the third, the next paragraph is also important. The distinguishing of these meters by the placement of the word break is something which happens occasionally. Like repeating a verse because there can be two verses, one with word break and one without word break. So this happens occasionally in the prosody. So we will learn in the coming chapters also. There is a verse that's called as Sasikala, and the next verse, the following verse is Maniguna Nikara. So the difference between Sasikala and Maniguna Nikara is also the word break. They are completely same. The groups and all groups and the number of syllables are same. But in Sasikala, word break is not there. But in Maniguna Nikara, word break is there. That is the only difference between Sasikala and Maniguna Nikara. So here also it can be considered as the difference can be considered as having and not having word break. So this is actually like we can accept this reason, we can agree with this reason than the one shown in the sub-commentaries and the Burmese texts. They just mentioned that there are two names, that is why they are shown like that. Another reason was there, I cannot remember the other reason, but however this word break point was not there in the Burmese books, so the sub-commentaries. So this is the difference between Rummavati and Champakamala. Okay, did you get that point? Are there any questions? It's clear, right?
Yes, it is, Bhante.
Yeah, okay. So that is Champakamala. And then we are going to Manorama. What is Manorama? Na Raja Gehi Sa Manorama. Na Raja Gehi Sa Manorama. The meaning is that is Manorama, which has Nagana, Ragana, Jagana, and heavy syllable. Manorama is the name of the verse. What is Manorama? Na Raja Gehi. If a verse is with Nagana, Ragana, Jagana, and Garu, Nagana, Ragana, Jagana, and Garu, then Sa, that verse is called as Manorama. So let's check it. Na Raja is Nagana, right? Gehi, Sa is Ragana. And then Manora is Jagana, Ma is the ending Garu. So the rules are like that. An example is given from Mahapanama Patha. Mahapanama Patha. Maru Ganehi Brahmuna Samang Ratana Dava Meruna Dada Samabhiyachito Patissavang Dasabalo Namami Desitung. Let's check the first line of that verse. Maruga is Nagana. Nehi Brah is Magana. Ne is one syllable. Hib, you should take under this letter. Hib is Garu, right? Because actually this is a kind of confusing place because sometimes, because these are two words, like na Maruga Nehi is one word and Brahmuna is another word, and B actually belongs to the other side. Brah, it is one letter. But if we consider, like if we do not consider that letter, then you will take this he as lahu, right? Take this he as short or light. But it shouldn't be taken like that, because here Sangyoga is there, right? Conjunct is there. So this is Sangyogadi Garu. This is still Sangyogadi Garu. So Maruga is Nagana, and then Ne Narajage, Nagana, Ragana, and Jagana should be there, right? Here there's a problem, right?
What's the problem, Bhante? I don't see problem.
Maruga is Nagana, right?
Yes.
And Ne he, if you take he as short and then brah as one long heavy syllable, then this is ragana, right? Then this is ragana and nara. Nara is there, and then munasa is jagana and mang is the ending garu. But the problem here is that in such places, ba and ra are, this is a sangyoga, b and r, two consonants, right? So
But Bande, like this, I have observed like what is the scholars in the Sutta Nibbana that part. He also the bra always put together. They do not separate
Yeah, yeah.
when they analyze this the gathas.
yeah, if there is such a agreement, then it is okay. But usually this is still a conjunct, right? B and R.
Oh,
Like
I
according to the
remember
usual, yeah, yes.
the K.R. Norman, when he analyzed the Sutta Nibbana, when they meet this word Brahmana or Brahmana, so the bra always together. They do not separate like in the conjunct part.
Okay. Then yeah, then it is okay. Then it is okay. But in other places, yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, so, but please keep in mind in other places, in such places, the first consonant should be taken to the previous side. So I did not know about this point in Brahmana and Brahman also, right? In Brahman also,
Yes, yes,
you consider as one. Okay.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Then there is no problem here. We can consider this as ragana. So that is Manorama, na raja gehi sa Manorama. So are there any questions?
Yeah, this is kind of strange, Bhante, because then if we consider it that way, then it's not very consistent with the rules that we set out earlier.
Yeah, that is what I was also thinking, but like maybe everywhere in the texts, this maybe this can be found everywhere, like Brahma and all. That is why the modern scholars consider like that. Maybe we should check in other places whether everywhere is like this. Otherwise, this is a very strange place, right? Very strange to consider them as like one syllable. Yes.
Yeah. So in this Uttaraya, I don't know, but last time I studied with Venerable Indiriya in the India, so he also count Praha with one syllable. Yeah, because the at the beginning also things Praha is one syllable. This is not considered choose another syllable.
Yeah, sure. Brah is one syllable. That is correct. But according to the general rule, we learned the previous syllable, like the syllable before bra, is Sangyoga Adigaru, right? Because it is in front of a Sangyoga, in front of a conjunct. Because B and R are two different consonants, right? B and R are two different consonants. So Sangyoga Adigaru is not applied here. We should say that. So it is like this should be said as a exception, right? So that is quite strange.
But so for example, we have something like the what, then that is also Sangyoga, right, Bhante? But in that case, we have to apply the rule.
Yes. Toa and like everywhere, every other place, in every other place we have to apply the rule.
But then, so for example, if let's say if we apply the rules here, then we we consider the ba to the front syllable, then
Yes.
should we pronounce it as the Maruganehit, Bante?
Yeah, that is a very good argument. Yeah, we still in our Sri Lankan tradition, we do not pronounce like that, because that can be the reason. That's why I said it an argument.
Right.
That
thank you.
can be the reason. Yeah. That's a very good point. We do not pronounce that as Maruganehi Brahmana. We still we separate those words and we take B to other side when we recite it. Maruganehi Brahmana Sama. Yeah, that can be the reason. Yeah. Okay, that is a very good point to keep in mind. Let's go to the next verse then. Ubbhasaka. Ubbhasakang tang che tomral cha. Ubbhasakang tang che tomral cha. Ubbhasaka is the name. Tang, that verse. Che, if. To, tagana. Mara, magana and ragana. L, cha. Lahu is also there. L, cha means lahu is also there. The meaning is given as this is one, if there is tagana, magana, ragana, and a light syllable, that is ubbhasaka. That is a meaning. And something special is that this is one of the very few meters which is defined as ending in a light syllable. So now we met few other meters also which ends with light syllable, right? So here this is also an example for meters ending with light syllables, because it's directly shown that lahu should be at the end. Lahu should be at the end. Light syllable should be at the end. So there cannot be long syllables at the end of any line. So let's check for the rules here. Tagana should be there in the beginning, right? Ub is heavy. Bha, heavy. Sa is light. So this is tagana. Kang, tang, che is magana, right? Kang, tang, che is magana. Tomara is ragana. Tomaral, sorry, you should take il to this side. So tomaral. Garu, lahu, garu, right? Tomaral. Garu, lahu, garu is ragana, and then cha is lahu. So tagana, magana, ragana, and then lahu is there at the end. This is called as ubbhasaka verse. An example is given from Mahapanama Patha. Gantwa isippa takkana nancha sattha migaddayang desa yittha satcha pakarang jodhamma chakka suttang name chabbidhang suttava. So please observe that there is no long syllable at the end of this verse, at the end of any line of this verse. So that is ubbhasaka. Are there any questions? Yes, okay, then let's go to the next verse. Tuttubha. Actually, here ends the Panti verses. Panti group ends here. This is the final verse of the Panti group. But still there is something to say about Panti group. But before saying that, did you have any questions from the previous lecture?
Yeah, hi Bante, I have a question
Okay.
about the verse Pamanika. So
Pamanika, right?
Pamanika. So we know that for this verse, it has a jagana, ragana, a light syllable, and a heavy syllable. So that is just the question is related to the translation. Well, it's not the translation, but it's the way that the Venerable Ananda Jyoti presented in his translation. So if we look at the profile that he gave in his translation, we see that he put a dash, which signifies the heavy syllable at the end, And in the when he analyzed that for the verse and also in this example, he also put the dash there. But usually, if we see in other verses, usually he put it's a cross to signify that the antagaru. But here he put the dash. Does that mean that it has to be end with always a heavy syllable, Bante?
In Pamanika, right?
Yes, Bante. You see, he put in the analysis of the verb also a dash, and the example below is also a dash. But if we look in
Yes.
other places, he usually put it across to signal it can be light or heavy, and we take it as the antagaru. But here he just put it as a dash. Does that mean it has to always be the has to be the heavy instead of the antagaru?
There is no reason to. Yes. Brahmavati also.
Because is a Rumavati verse.
Yeah, usually he puts a cross here, right? Not a straight line.
Yes.
There is no reason to consider that there must be a heavy syllable at the end. Like in other places we considered like there can be short or light syllables, and we consider them as heavy because it's the Padanta Garu. So here also that rule that rule can apply here also, because not any speciality is not mentioned. Bhante Anand Jyoti also doesn't mention anything.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a mistake, but it's just because he's very consistent in other verses, but here he just put a dash here.
Yeah. Maybe just.
Yeah. So for example, that the
he
Samanika
also.
that you said he puts at the you see here it's a cross down here.
Yes. Here also I'm looking at Manavaka.
Yes.
There also cross is there. At the end, Garu should be there, and he puts a cross in that place. So maybe his usual system he followed is not followed here by mistakenly by him. That's what we can think, because anything is like any special thing is not mentioned, right?
Right. So which means it can be an antagaru, right, Bhante?
It is Antagaru, right? It is Antagaru, so it should be able to like a short syllable also should be able to consider it as Garu here also, because this is not the exception.
Right. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have question, Bhante.
Okay.
Yeah, verse 49. Verse
49.
Yes.
49. Which verse name? Verse name, please, because here it is.
49 is name Samanika.
Samanika.
Yeah.
It's from eight syllable verses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Samanika is there. La Samanika Raja Cha.
Yes. So in this verse, Ananda Jyoti's translator Gala is that is a nominative case, but if I consider Gala a ablative case, and I translate like this: after a heavy syllable and a light syllable.
You mean after
God, no. We can understand that is ablative case, okay, Bhante?
In other places, actually, ablative case can be it can be considered as ablative, but here the problem is that this is a compound, right? G and ga and la are combined as a compound.
Yeah, yeah.
So then it is plural, right? It is not singular.
Yeah.
So if this is the ablative case, ablative case, then this should be like glehi, because this is plural, glehi.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this is ablative, then it should be glehi, not gla. So that is why we have to consider here it as nominative plural, not ablative singular. But still it can be ablative singular. It can be
Yeah.
like in another kind of samasa, you know, there are two types of dvanda samasa.
Yeah.
Samahara dvanda and asamahara dvanda. So if
Yeah.
you consider this as samahara dvanda, then gla is like ablative singular this can be ablative singular also. But then what is the problem? Then the next problem is ta is there, right? Ta also is there at the end, you see. La samanika raja cha. So raja also there. Like after gla, raja also there. That's not good, right? Gla and la like garu lahu are there, and ragana and jagana also there. So the nominative plural is the appropriate one to consider it, to be considered here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I should add about the word Raja, not Segala. Raja is because when I summary, I translate another way is Raja as a ablative case, and I translate like this: after a heavy syllable, a light syllable, there is Ragana and Jagana is called Sammanika.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also possible because you see, heavy and light syllable. After heavy and syllable and light syllable, we have the Ragana and Jagana.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, both can be considered, right? Garu lahu, then ragana jagana, oh ragana jagana, then garu lahu.
Yes.
Yeah, you are correct. Both can be considered.
Yes.
Like
Thank you,
yeah.
Bante.
Okay,
Hi,
then that's
Bante.
good.
Yes,
Yes.
that's all right. But I mean, the translation is not according to the verse, right? Because what she translated as she's using the ablative case, but there is no ablative case in there. Because what
In
she
translation, there is
translated
ablative
as
case.
after the ragana and jagana, there are garu and lahu, which means she's taking the raja as the ablative case, but it's not.
Where is this translation? In Samanika?
No, that's in her summary. She translated as the after the ragana and jagana, there are garu and lahu, which means she's taking the raja as the ablative case.
No. I don't translate like this. After a heavy syllable and a light syllable, there is a Ragana and Jagana. It's called Sammanika. So I take a Raja is a ablative case.
Gla as the ablative case, right? Raja
So
or gla?
the way she's taking the raja as the ablative case, Bante, and it's not right because this is the same thing. It has to be the nominative case. As you said, Bante, because there is a ja there, so it has to be the nominative case. Both
Yes.
and raja, both of them have to be in the nominative case.
Yes, in the usual way of of Utto there, it should be nominative plural actually. Both
Yes.
Gla and Raja. Yes, but yes.
Yeah. So I have the idea like this. Yeah, in Puttodaya, I also consider Gala and Raja is a nominative case plural. So, but
Yes.
another way we can consider about the ablative case, Raja is ablative case and Gala is nominative case plural. So I think that is possible way to think about.
It is possible according to grammar. It is possible.
Yeah.
Because as I told earlier, like there are two types of Dwanda Samasa, Samahara and Asamahara. In Samahara Dwanda, in Samahara Dwanda, like a singular form also is there, right? In the other type of Dwanda, we call it Itara Yoga Dwanda also. Yes. And Asamahara Dwanda is also named for that. Like in examples like Sariputta Moggallana, right? Sariputto cha Moggallano cha Sariputta Moggallana. So always plural should be there. Like Sariputta Moggallano, singular is not there. So in Dwanda, usually plural is there, but but singular also can be there in some cases. Singular also can be there. We call it Samahara Dwanda. So if you consider this as Samahara Dwanda, then you are correct. That can be there, but that is not the usual way of Buttode. That is not the usual way of Buttode.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Bande, if one consider as ablative case, how about the ja? This ja, the final ja is connected with which one?
Final,
Bhante, so
yeah,
as you
yeah,
said,
that
Bhante,
is.
so here in this particular verse, then we have to take both Gla and Raja as the nominative case because there is a ja there at the end.
Yeah. Yes. That is the problem. There is cha at the end. So if you take one of them as ablative, then cha is useless. Cha is useless because we usually, not usually actually, we cannot put cha if there is one noun with ablative and another one noun with nominative, because usually we gather two nouns with the same case by the particle cha, right? Sariputto cha, Moggallano cha, like that. Buddho cha, Sariputto cha. So the case should be similar to be collected by the particle cha. So yes, that is the problem here. Otherwise, you can consider this as the Samahara Dwanda also.
Yeah, and then I see this one is like the exact translation of the Sanskrit verse up there, Bhante. So we have Rajau, Samanika, Galau, Ja. So
Yes.
Rajau, Galau, both of them are in the dual forms and they are in
Dual
the
form.
nominative case, Bhante.
Yes, of course. Yes. That is the evidence, right? This is the evidence to consider them as like they are surely nominative, not ablative, because in the Sanskrit verse from Ruttaratnakara, Rajau, Samanika, Galau cha. You see here Rajau and Galau both are nominative dual form. So it is transliterated directly to Pali as Gla Samanika Rajacha. So here also we have to consider them as nominative plural. Yes. And
Bande,
Yeah.
yes.
So may I say first?
Go ahead.
Also, can you come up the verse 49, 48? Yeah, 48.
What is the name of the verse?
Manavaka.
Manavaka, yes.
Yeah. So you see, so here he's used ba ablative case. Ba talaga manavakang. So Venerable Ananda Jyoti's use of ba is ablative case.
Yes, of course. Yes. Yes, that's right. Here it is ablative case. Bha is ablative case because there is no obstacle to consider it as ablative. In that verse, what the problem was that, of course, as you mentioned, it can be considered as ablative if we take it as samahara dvanda, we can consider it as ablative, but it is still not the general way of Uttodaya. But there was a problem, right? The problem was ta was there, particle ta. So that obstacle is not seen here. Here particle ta is not there. So there is no obstacle to consider this as ablative, right? Their obstacle was like final obstacle was the particle ta, right?
But I think the after Svagana, we can translate like this one day. We can
Yes, of
consider-
course.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, of course, of
consider
course. Here we,
ablative case. Because
yes,
this
this
is
is
the
ablative case.
Sangre, but how legal, also normative case, but he translate the ablative case.
Yeah.
Yes, the same, the previous sentence. I think the both ways is okay.
No.
No, I don't agree with that
Patao
point.
is the compound
Because
here.
but how the also
Little word
normative
patao.
case.
The word patao is the compound.
Because
So he
this all the
split
last
ba and
one is
ta.
but then the last time you remember in the Sri Lanka University, the professor also consider in the after Bhagana also we have to consider ablative case.
Yes, of course, you are correct. Here it is
Yes.
after Bhagana. It's correct. This is not the nominative plural. This is ablative. Bha is after Bhagana. It's correct. Okay.
Yes.
This is ablative case. This is correct. But then the problem arises there in here in Samanika. Yeah. So here Gla is there, Raja is there. So yes, of course, you are correct. We can consider this both of them as ablative. We can
Yes.
consider them
the
as
last
ablative.
time the professor also say like that.
No, cannot.
also
If you check the Sanskrit here, it's Rajao and the Galao. They all are nominative with dual form.
Yeah, that is.
So
that
they
is-
cannot be ablative. If it's ablative, it should be Rajat, Galat. In that
This
sense.
is
Yeah, depending on the Sanskrit is correct. It's a
Yeah.
normative case dual.
nominative
Dual
plural,
form
right?
is correct.
Yes.
Ah.
Depending on Sanskrit, it should be nominative dual form. Okay. Then let's go to today's lesson. It is Tuttubhang, right? Tuttubha, 11 syllable verses. We now just finished the 10 syllable verses. We call it Panti Chandas, the 10 syllable verses, and now we are going to 11 syllable verses. Tuttubhang. Tuttubha is also there in feminine gender. Here it is Tuttubhang in neuter gender. So the first verse of Tuttubha Chanda is Upattita. Let's read it. Tajaj ga garuna ya mupattita sa. Tajaj ga garuna ya mupattita sa. So you see how I pronounce it taja, because it's very difficult to pronounce it as like taja without a vowel sound in the middle of T and J. It can be easily pronounced only if there is a vowel sound in the middle. Otherwise, it's very difficult. So that is the way how Myanmar monks read them. So if you can, however, read them without any vowel sound like sta, then please read like that. Otherwise, you can read that as I read taja, tajaj, and other thing is that you can use it's better not it's better actually. You should take this J to the previous side. The judge ga, right? The judge ga. The judge ga karunaya mupattita sa. Okay. The meaning is Thagana, two jaganas with a heavy syllable, that is upattita. Taja here, Taja means Tagana and Jagana there, then Jaga means Jagana and Garu is there. Garuna, another Garu is there. Ayang, this verse, like you should connect this Sa and Ayang. Sa Ayang, this verse is called as Upattita. Sa Ayang, this verse is called as Upattita. So here meaning is actually this is a mistake. Maybe it is wrong, because there should be two heavy syllables. There should be two heavy syllables. Here also you see ga is not taken. You see here Jaga is there, Ja and then Ga, Ja and then Jagan and then a Garu should be there, and again one Garu should be there. So here also that Garu is not mentioned, and in the meaning also that Garu is not mentioned, but there should be two heavy syllables at the end after Tagana, Jagana and Jagana. So let's check this for the rules. The judge is Garu, Ga is Garu, Ga is Lahu, then this is one Tagana. Then Runa Ya is Jagana, and again one another Jagana should be there. Mupatti is Jagana, and then Ta Sa, two heavy syllables, right? So this is the first verse of Tuttubha Chanda Upattita verse. So there is an example from Namakkara Pali. Bhattinsati Lakhana Chitra Dehang Dehajjuti Niggata Pajjalantang Panyadhiti Sila Gunogha Vindang Vande Muni Manti Majati Yuttang. So let's check it. Check the first line for the rules. Bhat Garu, Ting Garu Sa Lahu. So this is Tagana. Ti Lakha is Jagana. Na Chitra is another Jagana, and De one Garu, Hang another Garu. So you see there is Tagana, Jagana, Jagana, and two Garu, two heavy syllables. So this is a good example for Upattita verse. So something to learn here is that in some versions of Uttodaya, actually in the Uttodaya Pali we usually refer to is there also this Upattita verse is included in the previous group in Panti, not in Tuttubha, not in 11 syllable verses, but in 10 syllable verses, right? Then the then the rules are also different and the verse is also different. Please read it again. The Jajka Garunaya Mupattita Sa, right? This is how it is mentioned here. I will show you the text. Where is that? Yeah, here you see at the end of Panti, Upattita is, where is Panti? At the end of you see at the end of Panti, Upattita is there, but at the beginning of Tuttubha, Upattita is not there. Upattita is there at the end of Panti, and the verse is also different. It is not Tajachga Garunaya Mupattitasa, but it is Toja Garunaya Mupattita. Toja Garunaya Mupattita. Tagana Jagana. Tagana Jagana. Jagana, because Ja is plural, right? Ja is plural, so we should take two Jaganas here. It is plural. Tagana, Jagana, Jagana, and Garu. Tagana, two Jaganas and Garu. Then that verse is called as Upattita. So let's check it for the rules. To Ja Ga is Tagana. Runa Ya is Jagana. Mupatti is again Jagana, and Tha is the ending Garu syllable. So you can see that in in the Uttodaya text that we refer, the Upattita verse is included in Panti Chandas, 10 syllable verses, and the verse is also different. And according to Uttodaya Tika, please look at this paragraph in the middle. Uttodaya Tika in the Panti section. According to Uttodaya Tika, this Upattita should be at the in the Panti section, not in Tuttubha section. But in according to other texts such as Uttodaya Vivarana and Uttodaya Sannaya, Upattita is at Tuttubha section. So there is a confusion like this, whether it belongs to 10 syllable verses or 11 syllable verses. However, here it is put under 11 syllable verses. So in the Myanmar Nisaya, Myanmar translation also, it was included in the 11 syllable verses. So Bhante Anandajyoti mentions here that in Sanskrit also, in Vrittaratnakara also here, 142, the same sort of confusion occurs in Vrittaratnakara, where some readings favor 10 syllables and others 11. So Vrittaratnakara also, this confusion is there. So please keep that in mind. Upattita is included in some texts at Panti and in other texts as at Tuttubha, 11 syllables. Okay, then next verse, in the Vajira. This is a one of the very nice verses in Uttodaya. In the Vajira. Indadika tha. Oh, sorry. Do you have any questions from the previous verse? Is that clear for you?
So Bhante,
Yes.
what is the book Uttodaya Vivarana and Sannaya?
Uttodaya Vivarana and Sannaya both. I think they are Sri Lankan books for Uttodaya. Usually Sannaya is a Sri Lankan name. It is like Nisaya in Myanmar. It is like Nisaya. So in Sri Lanka we use Sannaya, not Nisaya.
So the both are for both are Nisaya for the Uttodaya?
Yes. Both are Sinhala Nisaya, Sri Lankan Nisaya for Uttodaya.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. In the Vajira. Indadikata Vajira Jagago. Indadikata Vajira Jagago. That meter with Inda at the beginning and Vajira has 2 Taganas, Jagana, and 2 heavy syllables. Indadikata Vajira Jagago. So the name of the verse is in the Vajira, right? In the Vajira. But here it is shown as Indadika Vajira. That means the Vajira verse, the verse Vajira, which has Inda at the beginning, right? Which has Inda at the beginning. So beginning part of the name is Inda, and then the ending part is Vajira. We should take the meaning as that. Vajira verse which has Inda at the beginning. So this is Bahubhi Samasa, right? In the Adhika. So the real name is Inda Vajira, not Inda Adhika Vajira. Inda Vajira is the name. So the rules are Tha, 2 Tagana should be there. Tha is in plural. So two Tagana should be there. Then Jaga, Go, Jagana, Garu, and Garu. Jagana, Garu, and Garu should be there. So you see, let's check for the rules. Indadi is Tagana, right? Ka, ta, va is also Tagana. Jira, ja is Jagana. Ga, go, 2 heavy syllables. So Tagana, Tagana, Jagana, and then 2 heavy syllables. This is in the Vajira verse. So an example is given from Mahavansa. Tasming matasming manujadipasming sabbe samagam narinda putta tassa bhayassa bhayadassa bhatu. Sorry. Tassa bhayassa bhayadassa bhatu rajabhisekang akarung ularang. So that is an example for Indavajra verse. Are there any questions from Indavajra?
So Bande, this
Yes.
Indavajra, I mean this name is refers the saga's thunderbolt.
Yes. Indavajra.
Because because I saw the Chinese translation regarding the Indavajra, they translate as a saga's thunderbolt.
Yes. That is the meaning of the word Indavajra, right?
Yeah.
That is the meaning of the word Indavajra, but nothing to do with with this verse, right? That's just the name of the verse, like I mentioned in the previous lecture. In some verses, actually, there are real meanings, like there are real reasons to give those names, but in other verses we cannot find like good reason for naming with those names. So this is also an example for that. This is also, yes. Okay, then let's go to the next verse. It is Upindavajra, but in some text it is Upendavajra. In Sanskrit also it's Upendavajra. Here it's given as Upindavajra. Both are correct, but Upindavajra is the one I prefer. It is Upadika Sav Jata Jaga Go. Upadika Sav Jata Jaga Go. That meter with up at the beginning, up at the beginning, or upa at the beginning, and Indavajra surely has Jagana, Tagana, Jagana, and 2 heavy syllables. So that is the meaning given here. Upadika, at the beginning, upa should be there, right? This is also Bahubri Samasa as the previous verse. Sav means this, like meaning is given here differently, but this is like Sav. This is also that. Sa refer to the Indavajra verse. Sa refer to the previous name Indavajra. So Upadika Sav means Sav, also that verse, but it starts from the term Upa. That means you have to add Upa to Indavajra. So the name becomes Upendavajra. The previous verse was named as Indavajra, and here it begins with the term Upa, then it becomes Upendavajra. So Upadika Sava. Conditions are Jata Jaga Go, Jagana Tagana Jagana, then 2 heavy syllables are there. So that is Upendavajra verse. So let's check it. Upadi is Jagana, right? Ka Sava is Tagana. Jata Ja is again Jagana. Ka Ga Go, 2 heavy syllables. An example is taken from Madhuratha Vilasini. Subuddha Vanse Nida Buddha Vanso Visuddha Vansena Vinayakena Hatavakasena Pakasito Yo Samadhivasena Tathagatena. So let's check the first line. Subuddha is Jagana, Vanseni Tagana, The Buddha again Jagana, and Vanso 2 heavy syllables. So this is Upendavajra verse. Are there any questions?
Yes, Bante. So there should not be a space between the word sa and wa, right, Bante?
Yes, it is a combination.
It should be
It is
sa wa. So sa e wa, right, Bante?
Yes, of course. Sa eva.
Okay, thank you, Bante.
Because there is no particle as were, right?
Yeah.
For the meaning, surely. Okay, then the next verse is Upajati. Anantarodhirita lakkana che pada vimissa upajatiyo tha evam kiranya supimissitasu vadanti jati svidameva namang. So this is the upajati verse. Meaning is, if the characteristics mentioned previously are mixed, those verses are upajati. Similarly, in regard to other kinds of mixed verses, also they use this name. So the rough meaning is that if the previous two verses, Indavajra and Upendavajra, are mixed together, then we call that verse as upajati verse, right? You can mix Indavajra and Upendavajra together, and then you call it upajati. And not only Indavajra and Upendavajra, you can mix other verses also. Other verses in this group, like in this Tiktubha Chanda, the verses in 11 syllable verses, you can mix them and then you can call it upajati. Not only that, you can mix you can mix you can take one line from 11 syllable verses and the second line from 12 syllable verses, third line from 13 syllable verses, and fourth line from 14 syllable verses. You can compose a verse and then still that is correct. You should name it upajati. So that is the rough meaning of this verse. Let's check word by word. Anantaro udirita lakkana che. Anantara udirita lakkana. Anantara means immediately, just before this verse. Udirita said or mentioned. Lakkana characteristics. So this is a bahubbihi samasa. It should be connected at pada. Anantaro udirita lakkana pada. The lines which has the immediately mentioned characteristics. Che vimissita. If those lines are mixed, tha, those lines or those verses also you can take meaning as those verses also, or those lines. Upajati yo, those lines or those verses are called as upajati. Upajati yo is the plural form of upajati, right? Upajati yo, upajati verses. You should name them upajati. Evam, like this. Kira kiranyasu. Kira anyasu. Kira is a particle. You can take that as having no meaning, or you can take that as having the meaning of something like I have heard, the meaning of the parokha vibhatti. Anyasupi missitasu. Anyasupi missitasu. When other verses are mixed, in those places also, sorry. Anyasu, in the other line, there is jatis, right? Anyasupi missitasu. What this anya, this pronoun anya refers to, that should be connected, that jatisu. Vadanti jatis vidameva namang. Vadanti jatisu idang eva namang. Jatisu. Anyasu jatisu. When other groups or other classes are mixed, then also idang eva namang, this name, only this name, and also this name, vadanti, they say, they say this name. That means the name just mentioned, upajati. So when other groups are mixed, when other verses are mixed, in that case also you call them upajati. So this is the word-to-word translation. So you can observe the first line is Upenda Vajra, and then the second line is Inda Vajra, third line is again Inda Vajra, and the fourth line is Upenda Vajra. The 4 lines are from 2 verses, like, right? Upenda Vajra and Inda Vajra are mixed. So this is a example for Upajati verses. So one thing is that you cannot mix one Matta Vutti and Vanna Vutti together. As for my knowledge, you can only mix Vanna Vutti verses together. Even you can mix 8 syllable verses and 12 syllable verses. Still that is Upajati. That can be done. But when that becomes odd, that is not good to mix. But you can find such mixtures also. So that is Upajati. So in Sanskrit, there are various names for the various possibilities. Like when you mix those two verses, Inda Vajra, Upenda Vajra, you can have 14 possibilities when you mix them together. Only Inda Vajra and Upenda Vajra, right? Not other verses from the Tubha verses or from other groups. Just Inda Vajra, Upenda Vajra. When you mix them together, there can be 14 possibilities. So in Sanskrit, there are 14 names for those 14 possibilities. You see here, first one is Inda Vajra, and then Kitti is there, Vani is there, Mala is there, Sala is there, Hansi is there, and ending with Upenda Vajra. So there are 14, 16? 14 or 16, yeah. Yeah, sorry, 14. When you add Inda Vajra and Upenda Vajra, then it becomes 16. Possibilities are like Upajati possibility, there can be 14 Upajati possibilities, and when you add Inda Vajra and Upenda Vajra to those possibilities, then it becomes 16. So so in Sanskrit there are various names for each of those possibilities, but in Pali, according to our Vuttodaya tradition, all of those verses are called as Upajati. We don't have different names for those different possibilities. Yeah. Then this is an example from Datha Vansa. Tato Kalinga Dipatis Tas Sochittayano Paramakpatito Tang Sasanang Pandu Naradhipas Nyape Siddhiro Duratikamanti. So here it is Kitti, that means the first line is Upenda Vajra and other 3 lines are Inda Vajra. First line is Upenda Vajra. Upadikasava Jata Jaga Go, right? So Upenda Vajra is Jata Jaga Go. You see, Tatoka is Jagana, Lingadhi is Tagana, Patis again Jagana, Tas Ga Go, 2 heavy syllables, and other 3 lines are from Inda Vajra. So this is Kitti according to the Sanskrit names, but this is still Upajati, okay? According to Vuttodaya, this is Upajati. This is not Kitti. This is Upajati. This is an example for Upajati according to Vuttodaya. And for other Sanskrit names also, examples are given here. You can study them by yourself. So this is a very special example from Madhuratta Vilasini. This you see, the first line is Vasanta Tilaka. We didn't still learn it. It's from 14 syllable verses. There are 14 syllables in the first line, and the second line is from 12 syllable verses. Name is Vansattha. And the third line from 11 syllable verses, Upenda Vajra, and fourth line from 12 syllable verses, Kamala. You see 14 syllable, 12 syllable, 11 syllable and 12 syllable verses are combined. So still you can call this as Upajati. And here also from Uttodaya Sannaya, example from Uttodaya Sannaya, 11 syllable, 12 syllable, 10 syllable and 12 syllable verses are mixed. This is from Dhammapada, you see. Kumbhupamankaya mimang viditva nagarupamanchitta midang tapetva yodheta maram panyabudhena jitang charakhe anivesano siya. This is from Dhammapada, you can check it. So you see 11, 12, 10, 12. This is also Upajati verse according to the Uttodaya Sannaya. Uttodaya Sannaya. So
Bhante,
yes.
I have a question. But so if you look at all the profiles in the examples, so why is there a reason why Bhante Anandajoti divided them into 3 parts, Bhante? You look at the profiles, always 3 parts. So are those the word breaks, Bhante?
There are no word breaks in these verses.
Yeah, but is there a reason why he just separate them into 3 parts?
Actually, I had this question for a long time.
It's not separated here. Why is it separated? It starts from here, right? Starts from Kitti.
Yes, Bhante. And then in fact, if you go down, if you keep go down, Bhante, please go down, keep go down. And there is one line, there is no that separation, but he just put a comma. Please keep go down, Bhante.
Here?
Yes, you see, just a comma.
Here he says that there is a word break. In the Sannaya, this is marked as Ubbhasaka. However, the word break after the 5th syllable defines it as Champakamala. He says that here word break is there. Yodheta marang. Word break is there, and because of that, this is Champakamala. It is also not a good argument, because Champakamala che bhamasa go. In Champakamala, there should be Bhagana, Magana, Sagana and Garu. So here you see it is not Bhagana, Yodhetha. In Sannaya, this is marked as Ubbhasaka, right? Ubbhasakantanche Tomaral cha. That means in Ubbhasaka, it should be Thagana, Magana, Ragana and Lahu. So here you see Yodhetha is Thagana, Marang Pany is Magana, Nyayudhe is Ragana and Na is Lahu. So you can clearly observe Tomaral cha rules here. So this should be Ubbhasaka. So Sannaya, in Sannaya, this is marked as Ubbhasaka. It's Ubbhasaka according to Sannaya, but Bhante named that as Champakamala just because word break is there after the 5th syllable. So I cannot still imagine why Bhante mentions that like this. However, this comma denotes the word break. Then, according to this this explanation, so we can consider that as the difference is that he denotes word break here. Still, this problem is not solved. Why it is separated into?
So Bhante, in
Yes.
this case, because there is Magana, right? But the word break between within the Magana.
Yodheta marang. Yes, in the middle of Magana, right?
Yeah.
That can be done actually, right? In the middle of a group, that can be done. But the problem is that Champakamala characteristics are not here. Champakamala should be Champakamala che bham sa go. Bhagana, Magana, Sagana, and Garu. That is the most important part. The groups, not the like the word break is not the important part of a verse, right? Most important part is the rules where the groups are there. So first there should be Bhagana, Bhamma, Stampakamala, Che, Bhamasago. But so those characteristics are not seen here. That one we should study more to find the reason for dividing like this. Okay, so we finished Upajati. Then we have to go to Dodhaka next in the next discussion. So are there any questions from Upajati verses?
Sorry, Pandit.
Yes.
So like in the Upajati verse, even there's 14 syllables, 12 syllables, 11 syllables. So why they put after the 11 syllables? They do not put end of this Sama Uda chapter.
The reason can be the most frequently seen version of Upajati is the mixture of Indavajra and Upendavajra. That can be the reason, because I will show you one thing here. Yeah, Upajati. You see, after Vatta, which will come up for description in the 5th chapter, the Vatta verses, you know, in the 5th chapter there are Vatta and Pathya and all. So after those Vatta verses, Upajati is the most popular of the meters employed in the texts. Upajati is the most seen verses after Vatta. Then come to the second paragraph. We quite often find Indavajra and Upendavajra mixed together. So this is the like most commonly seen version of Upajati. Indavajra and Upendavajra mixed together. Maybe you can remember in the Vinaya commentary, in the beginning of at the beginning of Vinaya commentary, Yo kappa koti hipi appa meyang. See, Yo kappa koti hipi appa meyang, 11 syllables. So there are 3 like Gantharamba verses at the beginning of the Vinaya commentary by Venerable Buddhaghosa. So those verses are also Upajati verses, and they are all of them are composed by mixing Indavajra and Upendavajra. So this is the most frequently seen version of Upajati. So that can be the reason for mentioning Upajati just after Indavajra and Upendavajra. Because other mixtures are not common, not common. They are not seen. They are not frequently seen.
So in this sense, you see, if they mix the 11 syllables, 12 or 13 and 14, but we still consider them as the Sama Uda. We do not consider them as a Visama Uda.
Actually, they are Visamavutta, but we consider them as Samavutta. But then it's like theoretically it's wrong, right? They are not sama anymore. They are not similar. Yes, but still they belongs to Samavutta, because each line of them are from Samavutta verses. But yeah, that problem is there. So yeah, theoretically it should be included in Visamavutta, but still you see Upajati verse, we learn Upajati verse under Samavutta. So that is evidence for us to consider in such places also, like 11 and 12 syllables also as Samavutta. That they are not Samavutta as you mentioned, but we that is the way of considering that. because here also you see Indavajara and Upendavajara are not same. So in this place also this verse is not Samavutta. This is not Samavutta because you see the dissimilar lines are there. So this is Visamavutta technically, but
In
it
this
is.
case, can we consider as a Atta Samavutta?
Yes, we can consider, but still this is not similar with the normal way of Adda Samavutta, because in Adda Samavutta first and the third lines are same and the second and fourth lines are same. So this way is not seen in Adda Samavutta also. Right? What the meaning, according to the meaning of the word Adda Sama, this is Adda Sama, because first line and fourth line are same and second line and third line are same. So according to the meaning of the word Adda Sama, this is of course Adda Samavutta, but the verses shown under the Adda Sama chapter, this is not still Adda Samavutta. Right?
Oh, yes. So, but in the Myanmar tradition, do they explain why they put this under the Samavutta chapter?
Like, is there a reason?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen a reason. Because in Visamavutta, only Vatta verses are there. Only Vatta verses are there in Visamavutta. Any other verses are not there in Visamavutta. Like the variations of Vatta verses are there in Visamavutta. So any other verse is not considered as Visamavutta. Adda Samavutta also, we consider Adda Sama if the first and third lines are same and the second and fourth lines are same. If the first and second lines are same and third and fourth lines are same, or what you see on the screen now, first and fourth lines are same and second and third lines are same. In these cases, we do not consider this as Adda Sama according to the normal way of Uttodaya. Yeah. So yeah, we can consider in different ways, but this is this is the way presented in Uttodaya itself, right? These are taken, every line is taken from every line of this verse is taken from Samavutta chapter. So because of that, we put Upajati verse under Samavutta verses. So there is a reason like that. So still we can consider this as Visamavutta, as you said, but that is not the way of Uttodaya. That is not the way presented in Uttodaya. Right?
Okay. So like the last one, like we see the another verb Ananda Jodi analyze the Jamba Kamara, that verse is not according to the rule. So it's because the among the verse we have learned only the Jamba Kamana verse, we have the word break after the fifth. That's why they put the name, even they do not follow the real Jamba Kamala rules, right?
Like in we learned that in Uttodaya word break is not shown, but in Sanskrit there is and according to the examples there should be word break, right? In Champakamala, but still just considering about word break and ignoring the groups are not cannot be justified, right? Like ignoring all the groups and just considering about the word break.
Because it looks like until now in this chapter, the word break, what we learn is something only like here, no? Only here, no? Another place also have word break, but it's not like that.
In 10 syllable verses?
10 syllables. I think we don't have word break, no? Only the jamba, this jamba kamana.
Only Champakamala, right? You are correct. But how can you consider this as having word break? Like having two separate words does not say that there must be a word break. Like there must be a stop after the word, right? Like in other verses also, let's say in Ubhasaka verse also, Ubhasakang tang che, you see, Ubhasakang tang, Ubhasakang tang che tomara lacha. So you can consider this as Ubhasaka verse and not having word break, isn't it? You can still consider this as Ubhasaka verse, because in Ubhasaka verse also Ubhasakang tang, several different words like tongue and then che is there. So Ubhasakang tang che tomra lacha, tomra cha. So you can just consider this as Ubhasaka verse. Why worry about word breaks?
Yes, that is also possible.
Yeah, that is something to think about. Okay, then time is up. We have to wind up the class for today. We will finish Sumukhi and all in the next lecture. Tuttubha, and we will try to finish Jagati also, 12 syllable verses also in the next lecture. Maybe we will take 7 or 8 more lectures to finish Uttode. That means 2 months, right? Yeah, about 2 months we will take to finish Uttode. Okay, let's recite Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titthatu. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titthatu. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titthatu. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titthatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you all for
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bante.
much, Bande.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you so much, Bante.